It's great to be on stage, great to be here. Thank you everyone for listening. Yeah, so I would like to provide you with some ideas how you could turn your current Fiat job into a Bitcoin job. Who of you would like to work in Bitcoin and don't work in Bitcoin yet? Oh, that's a lot. So I think maybe I have some ideas for you which might help you. And yeah, so I only have 40 minutes, so let's get started. I get a lot of requests from people who want to work in Bitcoin. And typically what I'm telling them, okay, yeah, look at Bitcoiner jobs if you find something, or go to a job platform and search for Bitcoin. Look what's out there. Look what companies put on there and where Bitcoin is in the description. But of course, this does not really help you to land a Bitcoin job, as we discussed in the panel earlier. You need to build a network. This is just key. You can't get a Bitcoin job that easy with an application or just nobody in the Bitcoin organization knowing you. So you would probably want to connect with others on Twitter, Nostr, LinkedIn, Telegram groups, and wherever you find your Bitcoin peers. But also, and this is important, we discussed this in the panel as well, do your proof of work, demonstrate your skills, support open source projects. If you're a developer, join the Summer of Bitcoin, do community work. This is important. Start a Bitcoin initiative somewhere. Just do some work and demonstrate the work you can do. But the big problem still is, let's face it, there are just not enough Bitcoiner jobs for the amount of Bitcoiners who would like to work in Bitcoin. So supply and demand doesn't match. So we are probably there where the orange line is. This is different, of course, for developer jobs in Bitcoin. So in the developer jobs in Bitcoin, we probably have a higher demand for developers, and or there's less demand to have a Bitcoiner job from developers and much more supply in Bitcoiner jobs on the development side. But not everyone is a developer, and you probably want to build your career on your existing skill set and not turn yourself into a developer, maybe. You can do this, but if you don't want to, there are some other options. Build more Bitcoin jobs. Right? Build your own Bitcoin jobs and build more Bitcoiner jobs for other Bitcoiners. You can create a Bitcoin startup, or, and this is what we want to focus on today, you can infiltrate your existing Fiat job. And let's look at what infiltration actually means. How to infiltrate your Fiat job is a little bit catchy, and infiltration has a kind of negative connotation, but it actually just means become part of a group in an order that you can get the information from this group and also influence this group to make specific decisions. In this case, start a Bitcoin project. So, but to be honest, short disclaimer here, I have no personal experience in converting my Fiat job into a Bitcoiner job. So I can't talk from first hand, but I can talk second hand, because I talked to a lot of people in the 21 community who did this. I'm doing a podcast, a Bitcoin business podcast, where we talk with Bitcoiners working full-time in Bitcoin. Some of them converted their Fiat job into a Bitcoin job. And at UTXO Solutions, we help Bitcoiners within large organizations to create a business case for this organization. So can you just go to your manager and say, hey, let's start a Bitcoin job, let's start a Bitcoin project here? And typically the answer will probably no, and there are several reasons. And the reasons are, there is not enough time. Typically, the prioritizations of your manager might be different, of the C-level might be different, and of course, Bitcoin has some negative aspects still in the how people perceive Bitcoin. Bitcoin sounds kind of coarse, it heats the planet. It's meant for gambling, so all of these ideas are still in the head of a lot of people. And even if you are a decision maker and could start a Bitcoin project, you probably need to involve a lot of stakeholders, and this takes time, and typically they don't have the time to understand Bitcoin. As you know, understanding Bitcoin takes at least a few hundred hours, or at least a few dozen hours, but if you really want to understand Bitcoin and understand the impact, you need to spend your time. And management, obviously, has different challenges and different problems and don't have the time to look deep into Bitcoin. So what doesn't work? Pitching to C-level. Bitcoin has a pitching Bitcoin as a treasury asset or as a means of payment to C-level, it's just not working. I tried it myself. I know a lot of people who try to do this. Unless you're C-level, you're a company owner or C-level manager, is somehow being introduced to Bitcoin by a friend or by someone he trusts, he will probably not listen to you. But still, let's not be negative. Let's stay positive here. There are still some ways what you can do. So first of all, build community. I mean, we talked a lot about community already. And still, also in your existing work environment, community building is important. Unless you are working in a super small organization, there's always another Bitcoiner, at least one other Bitcoiner. Find them, connect with them, right? Or if you don't find other Bitcoiners, and even if you find other Bitcoiners, there are still a lot of people in the organization you might turn into a Bitcoiner. Then connect these Bitcoiners, gather information, and build a business case. But let's look into the details here. Find forum Bitcoiners. How can you do this? So what I did is searching on LinkedIn, right? So search for colleagues who work at the same company and look if they post anything about Bitcoin or in a Bitcoin group on LinkedIn. Look at Slack or Teams or whatever you're using for an internal chat and look out for Bitcoin mentionings there. Search it and contact the people. So search the intranet if you have something like an intranet in your organization. And important, if you want to convert your colleagues into Bitcoiners, don't pitch them Bitcoin. You will be really annoying to them and you don't want to be annoying. Just talk about Bitcoin, but don't pitch Bitcoin and let them come to you. Let them ask the questions and be a helpful guide and help them to understand Bitcoin. They will turn into a Bitcoiner on their own. And of course, build a network, use all the connections within the organization to build a network, to build an internal community within the organization, and build a position for yourself as a thought leader, because if some project in crypto or Bitcoin pops up in the organization, everybody knows you are the guy, you are the expert, and they will come to you. We've seen this several times already. Second, connect the Bitcoiners. So what works well, create a Bitcoin-only chat in your group chat system like Slack or Teams or whatever you're using. And what you could also do is sometimes there are already crypto groups in your organizational chat. I've seen this in the organizations I worked for, and what I did, I took some of them to a Bitcoin-only chat. I promoted basically the Bitcoin-only chat in a larger crypto group, and therefore I could identify the Bitcoiners in the crypto community of the organization. If you are going on site to your place, if you're not working remote, if you're working in a factory, whatever, wear your statement. There's so much great Bitcoin swag out there. Just wear it every day. And if you don't feel comfortable using the Bitcoin logo, there's also some stealth swag. Use the stealth swag. Bitcoiners will identify you. Right? So, and this is important. You need to connect to the others, and therefore this is important. One of our customers, for example, he had this background, video background. He's mainly in video calls, and he took this video background for every video call, even with the management. Like there's a reason to show that you're a Bitcoiner, because then people start asking questions, and this is what you want. So gather information. Once you have your community built, gather information on a regular basis, post relevant industry news from the Bitcoin industry, which are relevant for your organization, share it with the others. And then now comes the important part. Compile all the relevant business challenges in your organization. You don't know all the challenges the organization have, but you have a lot of Bitcoiners in different departments, you connected them in a network, and now exchange all the challenges you are facing in your organization. Talk about them, brainstorm what kind of Bitcoin-based solutions could solve these challenges. And then maybe even identify the key stakeholders who are responsible to work on these challenges and find solutions. But when you start communicating solutions, don't talk about Bitcoin. Talk about a digital transformation. Be subtle. Like Bitcoin is still not at a point where you can use the word to convert someone into a Bitcoiner. Start slow, start easy, talk about digital transformation. And then build a business case. Demonstrate how the organization can earn money or save money with a Bitcoin-based technology approach, and not by investing into Bitcoin. This is important. Demonstrate the business case not by investing in Bitcoin and taking Bitcoin on the balance sheet, but how Bitcoin can actually solve the challenges the organization is facing. This is super important. Here are some ideas what you could look for. What is the problem? What are the costs if we don't solve the problem? What is the benefit if we have a project solving the problem or building something new? And what kind of benefits can we expect when? So what is the timing? These are some ideas which help you to at least start building a business case. So what are Bitcoin-based solutions actually? I mean, this is a good question, and to be honest, it's individual for every organization to look for, okay, which kind of challenges can you actually solve with Bitcoin? And here are some ideas based in these 4 pillars. We kind of figured out, of course, there's treasury, there's payments, it's kind of obvious, but even in treasury and payments, the range of different kind of solutions is crazy. Then we have energy, like, does the organization have a heating problem? Do they have like excess energy? Whatever it is, like there are different kind of ways how you can integrate Bitcoin as an energy solution into your organization. And data validity is a huge problem for a lot of organizations who are currently digitalizing their paper trail and other aspects like identity and stuff. So there is a huge demand for global, scalable trust layer to anchor all of these data. And I think, also based on my experience, specifically the data integration is kind of a low-hanging fruit, which makes sense to look at a little bit more close. And of course, lightning rewards is also something you should keep in mind. Just 2 ideas for you to have some ideas how could Bitcoin-based solutions look like. And with data integration, you don't even touch the asset. It's just like anchoring everything happening in the industry on the Bitcoin blockchain. Yeah, so some examples of successful integrations. For example, there are bankers who turned their bank, they are acting as a board member, into a Bitcoin, or they created a Bitcoin offering for the bank. One banker I met, he created his own Bitcoin job at a bank by being completely open about his Bitcoin situation and that he is a Bitcoiner, and he basically orange-pilled more than 100 people in the organization, and then once they started a crypto project, he was, of course, the expert who was he's now leading the crypto project, and of course, you always want to have a Bitcoiner leading a crypto project, right? Then in production, there's TerraHash. You probably have heard of them already, and some of them are already also here. So the CEO of a large producing company, he wanted to create his own Bitcoin job, so he founded a new company and built a solution which helps heating processes. And of course, there's a lot of things happening by migrating from Hyperledger away to a solution which is more scalable on a global trust, more scalable in terms of trust on a global scale. So, but how can you actually identify the right people to talk to and what are their challenges and so on? And I think this is probably something where I need to jump through the slides because we are coming to an end. But just quickly, we did an open source research with the jobs to be done method. So jobs to be done means you analyze what kind of products and services get hired for which job and when, and what are the trigger events why people hire a specific solution for a job. In this case, why do people hire Bitcoin? Not Bitcoiners, but Bitcoin. And I'm happy to share this research with you. But now let's go. Start thinking about how you convert your Fiat job, gather the Bitcoiners in your organization. And if you need help, please contact us, UTXO Solutions. We are happy to help you to build a business case. Thank you so much.